Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And the elephant in the room is Sassa. Yep, the social security system in South Africa. Now, where things are going is that when the rand hits junk, the government will no longer be able or allowed to pay out a huge amount of money every month to people who are claiming social security. And there's a very interesting article that I've come across. And in that article it says, or it claims, that about 1 out of every 2 households in South Africa depend on social security. Imagine the impact of that money either being reduced or taken away. It's going to absolutely cripple households, and it's going to create a huge amount of crime as people get desperate. Now, people who have the Sassa card are pretty well desperate right now. Every month, an elderly woman called Nana pays 70 rand to have a taxi drive her around the mountain from Genendale to Caledon before standing in a queue for upwards of 2 hours to collect a South African Social Security Agency, or Sassa, social grant. It was very easy in Genendale, she said. There it was free. There were stores. You can buy clothes, your shoes, even groceries you can get there. But now I must do everything in Caledon. The new system is not good. Nana's experience is a common one following the decommissioning of Sassa's pay points starting last October. Her story comes from a report to be released soon by the local human rights organisation Black Sash. Sassa ended its contract with Cash Paymaster Services, or CPS, in 2017 and signed a new contract with the South African Post Office to take over the system at the end of 2018. Since then, most of the 8,086 pay points commissioned for social grant collection have closed. Sassa beneficiaries must now visit ATMs, retailers, a post office, or one of the few remaining pay points to collect their social grants. Many of the elderly are suffering from physical and financial burdens of this new system. Black Sash partnered with the Department of Political Studies at the University of the Western Cape to conduct a series of case studies about the issues facing the elderly who try to collect their social grants using the new post office system. Their findings were presented on October the 3rd in a seminar hosted by the Catholic Parliamentary Liaison Office, or CPLO. Mike Pothio, CPLO project manager, moderated the seminar. This is the meat of this article. Roughly half of the households in South Africa collect social grants, according to Lawrence Piper of UWC, who presented the findings. In October 2018, social grant beneficiaries had withdrawn 7.6 billion rand from Sassa, sourcing 60% from ATMs, 33% from retailers, and 7% from tellers at the post office and in the banks. The research focused on the impact of decommissioning Sassa pay points from the perspective of social grant recipients. 4 case studies took place earlier this year in sites around the Western Cape, 2 in urban areas, Delft and Khayelitsha, and 2 in rural sites, Robertson and Genendale. Researchers collected data from 45 respondents with an average age of 66 through interviews, focus groups, and observations over 3-day intervals. They found the most pressing concern of the grant beneficiaries was the lack of dignity for the elderly, who now have to wait in long queues without seating, toilet, water, or shelter. One respondent said she only uses the bathroom upon returning home after collecting her social grant for fear of losing her spot in the public queue. These queues have known to last up to several hours. There is also an increased sense of insecurity at the withdrawal sites and in transit after collecting the grants. Many people end up going to 3 different places to try to withdraw money due to a combination of length of queues and the concern of too many tsotsis nearby, Piper said. Now, just for those who don't live in South Africa, A tsotsi is someone who looks a bit sus. You know, he's sort of standing there and watching you. Piper said in the morning, respondents would wake up with a sense of excitement about going to get their grants, that today was their day they could live properly, maybe even treat themselves to something they could only do once a month. He said through the course of the day, often that excitement was transformed through the experience of going to collect the grant, through the fear of being robbed, through disappointment at the deductions. It's more expensive to collect grants through the new system. Capitec has a R5 service charge and R6 withdrawal charge, and Nedbank has a R14 service charge and R5.50 withdrawal charge, according to the study. In retail outlets, respondents said they could only collect their grants if the shops had taken in cash first thing in the morning. Otherwise, they could only collect part of their grant and then had to come back the next day, resulting in a service fee for an additional withdrawal. Rural recipients are spending 6% of their grants on travelling and fees just to access them, the studies found. Piper said, I think that the transition to the post office, it does not have the facilities to supply social grants en masse. He said if there was a problem with a grant, a recourse was difficult. If a grant was short, beneficiaries merely received a bank statement. Previously, they could visit an official Sassa pay point and query the problem, but now they have to travel from the withdrawal site to the Sassa regional office, which in some cases adds a significant travel cost. Some recipients do prefer the new system, the study found. Some said they enjoyed the independence of being able to choose their withdrawal site, but they agreed that the recourse process is more difficult now. Researchers also found that following the decommissioning of pay points, Sassa made a set of promises regarding services, including solutions to problems with transport. The respondents said they have never heard of such services. Piper said, looking at the way the grant system works in South Africa, it's gone from one tailored to the grant recipient to one where they join existing public queues. In a Sassa progress report released in March 2019, Sassa recognized some of these concerns, such as long queues, and said it was working on addressing proper seating. The report merely states that these goals will be implemented over a period of time and then reviewed to track progress. Sassa representatives were invited to attend the seminar, according to CPLO project coordinator Kenny Pasensi, but did not reply to the invitation. Isn't that typical? GroundUp made several attempts to contact Sassa through email and phone, but the agency could not be reached for comment. Now, again, I'm just getting back to the point that, according to this report, 1 in every 2 households in South Africa are depending on Sassa and Social Security payments to basically keep going. What happens? What happens when the South African government is told to stop paying out that huge amount of money every month? Can you imagine the impact that's going to have on a huge percentage of South Africa's population? All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, stay safe.